Hi, welcome to Antel Stories. Today, I'll talk on a story of French Empress Josephine who had a twisted love affair with Emperor Napoleon, which created a sensation in French Revolution. In the year 1763, Joseph and Rosemary Tarcher gave birth to a baby girl, Mary Josephine Rose Tarcher, who was later very popularly known as Josephine. She had two sisters, and initially their family was wealthy as they owned a plantation of sugarcane. But in the year 1766, unfortunately, a hurricane destroyed their estate, which left them struggling financially. As the Tasha family had three daughters, they hoped to make a successful marriage to keep their financial situation. Here we should understand that it was during that time when they used to marry their girls with higher rank men with money to support their family's financial needs. If you watch shows like Bridgerton, you can clearly see this pattern. Joseph's sister Edme, who lived in France, was mistress of Francois de Beauharnais, who was a man with rank and money. But when his health began to fall, Edme knew she had to do something so she can keep getting support from their family. So she decided to arrange a marriage between Francois and Alexandre and Joseph's 12-year-old younger daughter Catherine to ensure that money would not go anywhere and it also benefit the Tarsh's family. But unfortunately, Catherine died. The reason is unsure, but she passed in the year 1777. Hence, they replaced her elder sister Josephine to marry Alexandre. Later, Alexandre and Josephine got married in the year 1779 in France. At that time, Josephine was just 16. This couple had two children, but the marriage was an unhappy one. They lived separately throughout and also got divorced later in the year 1794. During the Reign of Terror, where numerous people in France got executed, Alexandre was also arrested and so was Josephine. But somehow Josephine could escape this. Life after resolution was not easy for Josephine and her two children. To survive, she became mistress of men with money who were in position to help and support her. It was during this time she met Napoleon. She was 32 and he was 26. Napoleon was Major General in French army and Josephine was mistress of Paul Bahus. It was said that Paul convinced Napoleon to join him in Society Paul, where Napoleon had first met Josephine. He told his mistress Josephine to please Napoleon, so Paul encouraged Napoleon to romance Josephine. Why, if you would ask, then the reason was Paul wanted to get rid of Josephine and make her best friend his new mistress and couldn't afford to keep both. That's why he wanted Napoleon to marry Josephine. It did not take much of an encouragement as this later became a sensational love story. Josephine was very well aware that she was on verge of getting replaced, so she was looking for a way to survive French society. On the other hand, Napoleon was a man filled with ambition. He had become a general at a very young age and was put in a position of authority where all other generals and officers he commanded were older than him. So he believed if he married older women, he might claim to be older than he actually was and thereby obtain a little more respect from his officers. So he wanted to marry a rich, older woman. That's when Josephine caught his eyes. Both tried seducing each other. As Paul wanted to get rid of his mistress Josephine, he also did make her aware that she had no choice. It was also said that Josephine was an excessive spender. She was told by Paul that if she doesn't marry Napoleon, he will stop providing for her, which would make her and her kids fall on streets. Josephine, who was very scared of falling into this situation again, had no choice but to marry Napoleon. Napoleon, who was madly in love with Josephine, proposed to her in 1796 of January and then married in the month of March. Few days later, he got married. He was forced to leave his new bride in Paris while he led a battle in Italy. Even when he was away, he wrote many letters to Josephine expressing his love and affection. While Napoleon was away at war, Josephine enjoyed herself with other men. While Napoleon was asking Josephine to accompany him in Italy, she made excuses and was always busy attending parties and balls committing adultery. She even cooked a pregnancy story telling she was pregnant and can't travel. She later manipulated the story with a miscarriage, but the unfortunate is that she could not bear a child. But this did not stay in the cloister for long because Napoleon soon found out all about Josephine's adultery and affair, which made him very upset. It is also said that Napoleon was on verge of getting divorced, but they continued to be husband and wife, which might look a little strange, but it isn't because from then on, Napoleon was not a faithful husband. But strangely, Josephine became a faithful wife. The tables had turned. Napoleon had mistress after mistress. Later in the year 1805 December, Napoleon became the Emperor of France. Now Napoleon wanted a heir of his own blood, and Josephine failed in giving him one. Even if Josephine did remain very much faithful in the marriage, Napoleon loved her sincerely, but fate had a very different story. Just 5 years after tying the knot to the love of his life and after penning so many passionate love letters to the women he considered and loved with pure devotion, he had to divorce and remarry to serve the purpose. Despite her anger, Josephine agreed to divorce Napoleon so the emperor could remarry in the hope of having their own heir. The divorce ceremony took place in a healthy manner in January 1810. Later in the month of March 1810, Napoleon married Mary Louise of Austria. Even after this separation, Napoleon insisted Josephine to retain the title of Empress. It is also said that despite his divorce from Josephine, he showered his dedication to her for the rest of his life. Later in the year 1814, Josephine got ill because of pneumonia and she passed in the age of 51. It is also said that Napoleon's name was the last word she uttered on her deathbed. So yeah, that's it for the story. Tell me in the comment section below, what do you think of French history? And for more such story, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.